So tell me, how did you get interested in opera in the first place?
I would say opera found me. I didn't look for it. I received my master's degree from Cincinnati College Conservatory, and I had a degree in vocal accompanying for my master's, which was essentially playing for singers.
Right.
So I played for endless amounts of voice lessons with amazing, amazing singers, playing song recitals. And when I got done with school, I thought, what am I going to do now? And my piano teacher at the time was the pianist for Cincinnati Symphony. And he said, I think Cincinnati Opera is looking for pianists. Go and audition for them. And so I went to the library and I checked out the score of Madame Butterfly and Magic Flute, which were the two operas that they wanted me to play the opening from. And I crammed it into my fingers and learned it. I listened once because I didn't really know the operas well. And then I went down and I just played through them. And at the end, Tom Bankston, who was the artistic administrator at the time, said, congratulations, we'd like you to come this summer and play. And I went, great. But I had no idea what that meant. And being young and naive, I didn't ask any questions either. I didn't realize that when you arrive the first day, you go through the entire score. And I barely knew it when I got there. So I had the good fortune of someone's generosity. John DeMaine was the conductor of Madame Butterfly, the former music director of Houston Grand Opera, now the artistic and music director of both the Madison Symphony and the Madison Opera. He took me under his wing. And so I played Butterfly for him, and he was very kind in mentoring me and saying, you could be good at this if you receive some guidance. And I was fortunate enough to have someone take a chance on me and teach me what I needed to know, and then I worked really hard, and I fell in love with it immediately.
I was hoping that you were going to be coming into this with the ability to plan 2 operas for next season and some concerts, and here we are shut down, at least for the present. It's an overwhelming job to do to try to figure out what you're going to do.
This was not what I would have expected coming into this role, but that doesn't mean it's any less thrilling to find creative ways for us to connect our work to the community, continuing to give opportunities to emerging artists and established artists, diversifying our programming, all those things kind of just almost push that conversation forward immediately, because we have to think creatively in order to be able to connect with people. If we have to be socially distant, here's what we're going to do to make sure that people can experience a live performance of some sort as soon as possible, while protecting the safety of the audience as well as those performers. So it's going to look like a different season, not necessarily because that's what I wanted it to look like, but because the present demands that of us. I think the size of Annapolis Opera also lets us be really nimble. At this moment, we're shut down, but we're still able to do things like the costume shop made over 2,000 masks to donate to local hospitals and nursing homes. So that natural connection that we have to the community continues, even though we can't perform. And I think my job right now as incoming artistic director is to spend a lot of time listening to community members of what it is they are yearning for the opera to do. Also to connect with the donors and make sure I know, how are they? Are they okay, number one? And then find out, when would they be comfortable coming to see a performance? Or if not, what would they be interested in seeing us do? So I have a better idea of kind of the pulse of where they are. In normal times, you're right, we would have had these 2 operas set. Much of the casting had already been done, but we're not alone in having to figure this out. Literally the entire world is solving this. And so there's, I think, a little bit of leeway that we have, that people understand that we're working with constantly changing information.
What is your vision for the future? How would you like to see the company grow?
So I think growing comes in a couple of different ways. It's not just more, but how do we take what we do and make it more impactful? How can our work helping emerging artists make certain that we are helping more diverse voices be on stage? That's a long-term issue that needs to be addressed. The other thing is, I'm really excited about creating partnerships within the immediate community. What are the other organizations that we can partner with for deeper dialogues about any number of works? Because even an opera that was written 100 years ago, the reason it's still performed today, why people will go and see it today, is because it resonates with them. There are ways that we could magnify all that.
Right.
And then how do we find ways to collaborate with opera companies well outside the immediate region, to do co-productions, to share singers, and we already have a lot of ways that we're going to be doing that. We're developing a partnership with Tri-Cities Opera that's based in New York, so that when we build an original set, that will then go to Tri-Cities and be available for rental, be it the sets, the costumes, the props, all that. And so we're going to start collaborating more actively with these other organizations that maybe have a similar sized budget, that in order to increase their offerings in any number of ways, we're thinking creatively about how to make all of the funding sustainable. And that the board members and the donors that give their individual donations or their corporate donations or grant money is going towards something tangible that will pay forward for generations to come. What sorts of eye-opening and ear-opening experiences can we provide when we think of newer works, either in the form of a brand new work that's never been performed anywhere that we might commission, or a work that is new to our audience? And I think we can surprise people in unexpected ways that are positive surprises.
You mentioned that you wanted to bring more diversity in your casting. What are your plans to do that?
Well, this moment provides an immediate need to respond,
Yes.
and it's on, I think, all of us to do that. Through my work at Maryland Opera Studio as an educator, and through my work now at Annapolis Opera as an artistic director, we need to find ways that will ensure voices both on and off the stage are represented, are lifted up, are heard. And the immediate thing that we will do at Annapolis Opera is partnering with Maryland Opera Studio, commit to a commission of a new work reading that we will plan to perform in this coming season, collaborating with both these institutions, engaging a person of color as the creator of that, and ensuring that the people you see on stage accurately represent what it is that that creator would like to see. And we need to find ways that give everyone an opportunity to create opera, music, storytelling. Long term, we will continue to develop those ways that honor the diversity of the world we live in, gives everyone a seat at the table in terms of leadership, voices on and off the stage, creators, and hopefully then allows us to really hear the community, find out what are people interested in, what kinds of stories are people interested in hearing. And any one story, when it's told, is told from the perspective of where someone comes from.
Yes.
So how many times have we missed out on learning the perspective of someone else and therefore changing our own perspective because of the lack of diversity that has existed on the opera stage? I don't presume to know all the answers. What I am committed to is joining the conversation, listening, and finding out what can we do actively to be a contributor to moving the conversation forward. If we're not doing our part to connect people to, and then we're thinking of performers right now and as well as audiences, but also to expand that, to bring other people in, then that means we're not doing our job. And I want to use this position for positive change in that way.
Terrific. Craig, I am really looking forward to your first opera with Annapolis Opera, and I hope it is very soon. But whenever it is, you can be sure that I will be in the audience cheering you on.
Thank you.